Miguel's kind of like transitioning from their core of Grand Slam players, not letting go of Alex Cabagnot and Arvin Santos. No? So it's still an adjustment period for them, I think, no, moving forward. And Orlando Johnson, I think, having familiarity here in the PBA before with Ginebra, 33 points per game, I think he will uh, fit really well, and because of his familiarity with the league. And for San Miguel naman, they're a team that approaching the playoffs, they get into their groove, they play well deep into the tournament. So Orlando Johnson, he can probably take his time to get to know his teammates more, complement Junmar, play some point guard or whatever San Miguel really needs at this point, because of some of their new players, and they're transitioning to life after Cabagnot. No? So I think for his experience, no, having played in the NBA the most among the four guys, no, it will be interesting for him, and I think he'll have the easiest adjustment among all the imports.
Kuya Larry, do you think Orlando Johnson, he's a scorer, right? And San Miguel has a lot of scorers. They have a lot of talent. Do you think that's going to be a little bit of a problem when it comes to, the touches, who's going to take all the shots? Because there's a lot of talent in San Miguel.
It really depends on how the players will willingly sacrifice to him, no. I mean, and his willingness to really just be to accept probably a secondary role to Junmar in this San Miguel team, no. I mean, this is such a tricky situation, this whole pandemic thing. I mean, you can't really just bring imports here and expect them to just really fit in and adjust to the whole situation. No? Parang whoever the available import is there worldwide, sometimes teams have to just get them. No? So parang it really has to be learning on the fly for everyone during this point of the season. Lalo na crucial going into the playoffs. No, I mean, San Miguel's at 3-2. So every game is crucial for them as they try to get into a good position. No? So, but having his experience in the NBA, I'm sure he's probably going to be mature enough to really just give San Miguel what they need during this time.
Tama ka dyan, Larry. And of course, we're going to see whether or not he can fit in with the likes of Manuel and Fajardo, who really occupy the paint. So having an import that complements yung inside game nila is going to be key para sa San Miguel. Now, moving on, we move on to the Northport Batang Pierre. Jamel Artis that's coming in right now, replacing Cameron Forte. And this guy in particular probably has one of the bigger jobs to do kasi winless pa rin ang Northport, Larry. What do you say about the job that he has here with this team?
I mean, for Northport, I really like this team. No, I mean, it's a really complete team, a very talented team, good mix of veterans and new guys. But it's disappointing lang, no, that they're still winless in this conference. Their inability to close out games, their inconsistency. It's probably frustrating to be in their position right now, and hopefully Jamil Artis, he can probably, it looks like a do-it-all player from some of the highlights that I've seen him play in YouTube now. So hopefully they can get one win, then maybe it can be 2 wins, and he can complement Bolick, a Slaughter down low. And I feel that Northport can be a really dangerous team going to the playoffs. I wouldn't like to play this team in the playoffs. Now they're a very complete team, and feeling once they get their groove together, get some confidence, they can really do some damage, no?
Absolutely, Larry. And I just want to add there, you mentioned sila Bolick and Slaughter. Syempre, there's still contract negotiations going on with regards to their future with Northport. So let's see whether or not that team can have a bit of stability moving down the road in this conference. But Jegs, you had a point to bring up here.
And they also signed some new players, younger players who can probably complement the team, even without Robert Bolick and Greg Slaughter. How do you think this is going to play out for Northport? They have a lot of new faces, but they still have the same goal for the season, is to win games.
Yeah, well, ako bilib ako kay Coach Pido. No? I mean, the job he's done with UST and, in his other coaching since the PBA. Coach Pido can really work well with the players that he's given to. Despite the many changes in season and off season, I mean, Coach Pido has a knack of making all these parts work together. No, so this just says a lot about him as a coach. Na players want to play for him, and players really wanna nagpapaamatay para sa kanya, and we see that. And I think na kahit sino pa ilagay mo dyan sa Northport na yan, Coach Pido is gonna give them a chance to play, and they enjoy playing for him.
Now moving on to the Blackwater Bossing, Sean Glover, their new import coming in. For those who are wondering who he is, he's a 31-year-old vet, 6'5", last played in Iceland. I'm not sure if we can even pronounce yung name ng capital nila, so let's not mention yung team name. And of course, 26.2 points per game there. Itong Blackwater, their previous import, si Jalen Bond, was more of a workhorse trying to get rebounds. But here, they have someone who is a known scorer with, again, 26 points per game. Do you think that yung scoring issue is what they wanted to address more with getting Sean Glover?
Well, definitely would help, Paolo. I heard na ang daming injuries ng Blackwater sa guards sila Baser, sila Mike Ayon. So, I think he would be a great addition. I mean, obviously Blackwater needing many wins, pero the reality is they're playing without much pressure din. I mean, with their lineup and daming injuries and so many new players. So, having a heavy scorer of an import in their team will probably help their cause then. And so if that's the kind of import that they got, then I guess the other guys, the new guys, their team, the big guys, just need to cover up for the rebounding and the defense that was left by Jalen Bond.
Yeah, when you talk about Blackwater, Kuya Larry, they've had a lot of problems, especially on the defensive end. Do you think it really all boils down to the import when it comes to the defense, especially in the Governors Cup?
No, I just think it's a total team effort here. No, I mean, let's face it, Blackwater is an undermanned team. They've been facing many changes, but it has to be the whole team, the whole unit contributing to the defense. And it's tough, man. They're 0-5, and psychologically, it's probably discouraging to play right now. But like Northport, no, Blackwater gets a win, 2 wins. You never know what can happen. Probably they can break that losing streak, and they can start something new. And anything can happen. Anything can happen with these new changes.
Moving on to Phoenix, they have a interim import at the moment while Paul Harris is out with an hamstring injury. Itong si Donald Tancua, and yes, friends, it is the same Donald Tancua who was an import with Sambeda, 3-time champion with Sambeda, as well as Finals MVP. Pero Larry, ibang level when you ask for a player that shined in college levels to move on to the PBA and come in as an import competing with guys with actual NBA experience. Gaano kalaki yung challenge ni Donald Tancua?
Oh, well, definitely. It's a real challenge for him. I remember before nung Sanbeda when he tore his ACL, and Coach Jamike asked me to message him lang to just encourage him to to keep fighting and not give up. And I really want to see him succeed. No, it's a new, very hard situation that he's put in right now, and I'm glad he's getting this chance. And I want to see him succeed, and I wanted to see him give his best against all these NBA players na he's going to go up against. No, of course it's going to be Matthew Wright carrying the scoring load for them. But Donald Tancua, he's a fighter, and let's see how he can. And he's got Coach Jamike there to help him out. Coach Topex, I'm sure will put him in good positions in the court. No, so yeah, Phoenix is not gonna just lie down and give up and not give up a fight. No.
Yeah, that's for sure. Kuya Larry, I played against Donald back in college, and he was really a beast in the paint. But the size difference in college is really different in the PBA. What do you think is the role that he's going to be playing here in the PBA?
Well, obviously, pag imports, no, I mean, you expect imports to dominate here in the PBA. But obviously, the situation of Donald is just probably to fill in for Paul. And obviously, I want to see him succeed. I want to see how he adjusts. I want to see how Coach Topex and Coach Jamike puts him in positions where he can succeed and where he can help Matthew Wright and the other players really well. I'm still rooting for Paul Harris, one of my favorite teammates and imports of all time. I hope he gets well. But, if things don't work out, I still believe team manager Paulo Bugia, can make a comeback and play center for Phoenix.